Allison here again today, and I have a beautiful Christmas card that's kind of a window into Christmas, I think. It's showing off the new dies that we have for this Christmas release, the Mosaic Poinsettia, some of the holly sprays, the pine bough and sprigs, and absolutely gorgeous. Plus I'm using the Austrian collection too, so I will show you the dies so you can see them in their packaging. I'm really crazy about this first one. This is the Mosaic Poinsettia, and it matches up with the classic poinsettia, same exact size, so you've got a solid back with a decorative front you can use. The holly spray is here with a left and a right facing, so you can do all your little embellishing with that. And I've got a pine bough, and we're going to be using the little twigs from that for this card. And for the center of our aperture, we're using the Austrian Innsbruck die. And I've actually gone ahead and stamped the center of the card with the grand Christmas sentiments from Just Right. These are absolutely beautiful, I think. So to do a bit of cutting first, we're going to start out with the Innsbruck and cut our aperture. So I'm going to use the outside oval here and put that right in the center of the card. Tape it into place. I want to take this inner ring and cut it separately, so I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little frame using all three of those. And just line them up so they're equally spaced. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A little bit of tape and we'll get our cutting plate. Run that through the grand caliper. Okay, so we have this cut out. Let's unpeel that. So I've got the aperture we'll be using, and I've got this little guy right here that we're going to use too. Take everything apart. We can reuse our removable tape. And let's just pop these back onto our magnetic sheet. So here's the outer ring we're going to be using, and I've actually cut one ahead of time and popped out all the little pieces, so we'll go ahead and use this one. Put this back. Now I've stamped our sentiment, and I've embossed it with some ivory embossing powder because we're going to use kind of a black, red, and ivory theme on the card. So just to show you a quick little cheat, I think it's easier, rather than stamping through an aperture onto a mat that's going to be showing behind, what I like to do is cut a separate piece and use it, and then we can mat it onto something. So here is the aperture we cut earlier. I've gone ahead and put some mounting foam on it ahead of time. So I'm going to layer this up over this. Just peel this back. And just center it so it's right in the middle there. That looks pretty good. Make sure I don't have any little edges sticking out. There's just a little bit right there, so we will nip that away with a pair of scissors. And I'm going to add some glue to the back of the Innsbruck die cut that we did. And we'll recess that down into our aperture. Just adding some little dots to hold it into place. And some on the outside. There we go. Carefully pick that one up and just layer that in. Just gives a little bit of added extra detail to that. I think it's quite pretty around the edge. Layer that up. Give it a nice little push. Make sure it's cleared the aperture completely there. So we can go ahead and put that on here and see if I'd stamped directly onto this piece, I might not have been able to get it exactly straight. So I think this is a good way to do it. I'll put a little bit of glue on the back and mat that. There we go. So now we have the beginning of the card, but it's too simple now, so we're going to add some details and some flowers too. Now, I went ahead and did several of these Mosaic Poinsettias ahead of time, so I'm going to show you how to put them together. I've got the decorative piece cut in the dark black here, and then I'm going to put that over a red base. So First thing you need to know is that all of these leaves are kind of organically formed, so they're not exactly even or the same all the way around. So you just want to find out which one it matches up to. And just by rotating it, or you can pick out a spot, like I like to look at this one that's got a little bit of a straighter edge to it and find that on the match. So I know I'm going to put that together right there. And we'll just pop a little tiny bit of glue on the tips to hold them in place and in the center. Okay. And place that down. And let me get a hold of that, and we will make sure it's nice and lined up as we go around and get all those tips down into place. Just give it a second for the glue to hold. Okay, so now you have a really pretty poinsettia going. So I've got a second one we've done here, and I just think it's nice to go through and put a little bit of a bend in the leaves. That gives it some dimension. I'm going to pop some glue in the center there while I go ahead and bend these. Just gives your flowers a little bit more of a dimensional look. So it's got some life to it, I think. And then we're offsetting it just like that to give us a nice full flower. Just give that a second for the glue to take hold. And we'll put a little pearl in the center of that. I think it's a nice way to complete your flowers. There we go. Now this little one has only got 3 leaves on it, so it definitely needs to be doubled up, but it really is exactly the same way. I've layered them up with the black on top of the red. I'm going to go through and pinch the leaves, and a little bit of glue in the center. Go through and pinch these. A little bit of form there. Same thing, I'm just going to offset those. Give me a really nice tiny little poinsettia, which is always handy. Give that a second to take hold. Put a pearl right in the middle of that. So I'll let those dry for a minute. Oh, let me put this last little guy together. This is the larger one. You have 4 different sizes on your poinsettia you can make. A little bit of glue there, and form this one. Offset it, give it a second to hold. So what I'm going to show you next is the holly spray while these dry. So I've cut one of the holly sprays, and it's just a beautifully detailed spray. I absolutely love this. And I'm going to add a little bit of the Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue to all the little berry spots here, and catch all of these, and then just a little bit to the leaves to kind of decorate it and really get some bling on your card. And we're going to just tap some ice snow on there. It's really pretty. Now when that dries, just takes, I would say maybe 10 minutes for that to dry. What you'll end up with is a really, really blingy but elegant looking holly spray there. Just catches the light and adds a lot to your card. So I'll bring back the base piece that we were working on, and we will add some bits and show you how to accessorize that. So I think I'll go ahead and use some glue dots here. Add in our large poinsettia in the corner here. Put that right about like that. We'll take one of the medium-sized ones and put that up to the edge there. And using, in fact, I'll go ahead and use a little bit of glue on the back of the holly spray, and we'll just tuck it underneath there. So you can have a bit coming down here. Place that wherever you like. And because there's a left and a right facing, you can have it kind of go around your oval aperture, and it fits it really nicely. Pop that there. And I went ahead and cut a bunch of twigs. I like to keep these when I'm doing cards just to add little extra bits in, so you can just pick them up when you need them. And I think they're a really nice little accompaniment to this. And they add just a tad extra that sometimes you need for a card. So we will put in a few more of these. I'll take a longer one. There's several different sizes on the in the die set. Pop that under. Do a couple little ones here. That looks nice. And let's go ahead and add these other poinsettias. It gives you a nice balance if you put them in opposite corners. And I think it's nice to have a really pretty balanced card. I've got a lot of black in the center, so I've lightened it with the white around it. I brought the red back in with the flowers and the matting, so I think it's nicely balanced. This little guy on this side. And we will just use a couple of these little tiny twigs. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll even trim this. Just put some glue right here. Shorten it up a bit. Put that like that. And put this piece on the bottom. Little added extra embellishments. Like that. Now, the only other thing that I've done, and I think this is kind of a pretty little accent, is I've scattered a few pearls. I've just got some 3mm cream pearls. Take them and just randomly put them around in different spots. It helps draw your eye all the way around your card. And I've also added a few tiny little drops of dry clear glue randomly in different spots. And this is totally up to you how much you add. If you want it a little busier, I just like a little bit extra, and then we will just cover it with some ice snow, so when that dries, you'll have a lovely little twinkle coming from the side there. And I think that finishes your card off absolutely beautifully. Let's just tip the extra off onto our copy paper. There you go. You have a beautifully finished Christmas card, and I think that is oh so elegant. I would love to receive this myself. I don't know about you. Hope you've enjoyed today's video.